Yeah, 60 on it. Yep, Lowe's Vert. We going all the way up. Yeah. We gonna turn this bitch all the way up. Hey, Brandon, why you? Yeah. I'm on the block with that heavy, yeah. On the block with that heavy. Watch out for cops that pull up in them Chevys. Whip out the crack, my main trap, her name Betty. These niggas don't want no smoke on my body. Gucci and Louis can't do no Zanati. Bad bitch on me look like she hang with Kylie. I used to fuck with a bitch, hang with Kylie. On the real, I think that bitch live in Cali. My boy shot the pot of the flower that Kylie. Yeah. I could've been a stylist. I remember when the boys used to dollars. I got a girl that trap like she from Dallas. I got so much money, need an accountant. She said
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sideline Surge. We are doing the NFL episode today. This will be releasing right next to our college football episode, so if you haven't already, go watch that too. We are filming this on Monday night as the Texans are currently winning against the Cowboys 14-7 in the second quarter. So at the end of us recording this, we will probably give you an update, but we probably won't know the results by the end of recording this. So that'll probably be something for us to go over next episode. But besides that, I mean, we've had a good week 11 of NFL. We started off the week with the Commanders-Eagles game, where the Eagles comfortably, I don't know about they beat the Commanders pretty well. They played well. Saquon Barkley did his thing again, much to my dismay, as Samaj had Saquon Barkley on his fantasy team this week. But it's okay. Um, yeah, it was a pretty standard game for Thursday Night Football. Nothing to complain about. The Rams took on the Patriots as well. Rams beat the Patriots with Drake May not playing to his best, I would say. But he is a rookie, so, just one of those slumps. He still played well with 75% completion, 282 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But Matthew Stafford, before we move on, this is kind of just a Patriots defense that isn't good, but Matthew Stafford had 4 touchdowns and 5 yards away from 300 yards this week. Could we see a Rams comeback season this year, do you think? Or is this
Definitely
just
not.
taking advantage of the Patriots defense?
This is like
I'm
NFC is
surprised.
is not good, bro. That I
I'm
mean, not.
surprised that
It's just
like the Rams went and won a Super Bowl. The Rams and the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, and then after that year, like they just kind of fell off a little, which is kind of surprising to me. Because they
not
like the teams
that,
didn't really fall apart after.
but that happens with a lot of losing teams, though. Like that same thing with the Eagles, bro. Once Eagles lost for that whole season after, they were horrible. Like they
Yeah.
weren't even projected to go that far. But then it's like now, years later, now they start to pick it up a little bit. So it's like you can't really like championships, they obviously do matter, but for losing teams, like bro, that once that team loses, bro, that season after is pretty much gonna be horrible for them. So that's kind of normal for it to happen. So that's why I'll never like discredit them
Yeah.
because like even though they started the season losing horribly, but at the same time they didn't have two of their receivers, and then their defense wasn't doing too well. So it was like you gotta at least give them some credit where it's due, because bro, like no NFL team is that bad, bro. You're in NFL, you're in the NFL. You were that good to make it to the NFL for a reason. So like, come on now.
Yeah. Moving on, we also had Chris Boswell single-handedly picking the Ravens out of the field, where the Steelers beat the Ravens 18-16. I mean, shout out to Chris Boswell, man. He put up 6 field goals for a good 18 points, with the longest being 57 yards. I mean, this man was keeping his team in the game single-handedly. With Lamar Jackson having an iffy game, I must say, where he basically threw my fantasy team, which I don't know why this keeps happening to me, but we don't gotta go into that. Um, what do you think went wrong with the Ravens team this week? Besides obviously Justin Tucker missing 2 field goals.
It's more of uh uh, uh I won't say a coaching thing. It's more of a chemistry thing. It's like as we saw them from last year, it's like they're starting to play more and more unorganized. That's like why we would see Lamar like he would have so many seconds in the pocket trying to scramble and get away because it's either his receivers aren't open or his line isn't opening up too well. So it's like I from last year the decline is horrendous, bro. Like it's that bad to the point where everybody's is out of place. And then even with Zay Flowers, he would have a few great games and it would just decline from there. But I started to notice that as they start to play more and more, you could see the flaws in between the cracks more and more every single game. Like you could see something go bad this game that probably didn't go half as bad from the last game. So it's like that's what the Ravens are doing to themselves. If Ravens actually picks it back up, then they're for sure a threat. But as right now, there's so many other teams that are actually like a big threat to them because of just the way they're playing right now. So from what I've seen in that game, it's a defensive issue, bro. Because like even with them not scoring a touchdown at all, they're always able to get in position to score a field goal every
Yeah.
single time. So it's like, come on, bro, what's going on? And I understand you lost a few players on defense last year, then you lost your DC from last year, but it's like, bro, the change should not be that much to the point where games are literally decided by your defense every single time. Like that's actually bad because your offense could easily produce, but if your defense is doing nothing, you're like literally fish out of water, bro. Like it's actually bad for you, especially because defense wins championships. Not even just championships. Defense wins regular games. Like, come on now. Right now, everybody's in a race to make playoffs, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Would you say last episode we talked about the four teams that we thought could go all the way: the Bills, the Ravens, the Eagles, and the Lions. After this game against the Steelers, do you think that you would drop the Ravens off of those four teams, or do you think
No.
you'd still have them on there? You still think they could go all the way?
That the thing is though is that people would see a team lose and then they'll automatically discredit them. They'll automatically say like, oh, they're not going to playoffs no more, or like they're not a huge threat to anybody. They would say that, and yet they're still the other three teams that have lost to somebody that's probably not as good, or lost to somebody under certain circumstances, and yet people would still give them their flowers. So I don't see the point of them doing that to the Ravens because like Lions, we've seen Lions lose, we've seen the Texans lose, and then we've even seen Eagles be like super close to losing. So it's like you can't really like discredit somebody just because they lost one game, or not even just one game, or just because they lost by so little. It's like it's more of a one-sided thing. You can't put it on the whole team. You gotta point out the flaws of the last game, and you gotta work, and you gotta at least like let it be known. That's why I be telling people, even though you still have Steelers, Commanders, that's still going up there, and even though Chiefs with their records don't really matter too much right now, especially because every team is hungry. So you could be 8-2 right now, and then you could lose the rest of 3 games, and then your playoff run might not even be there because so many other teams are that hungry. But it's like with Ravens, they have the skill set and that longevity to put up a good fight, even though like there might be some things going wrong in the game. So you may have 3, 4, or 5 of the teams that are good, but with those 4 teams, they have like that extra gear that can easily put them above every other team. Like their hunger is there. And I would definitely say Steelers are like right under those 4 teams. Is literally Steelers and the Commanders is literally right under those teams because they've proven that. And then there's you only have like Texans after that. So it's really only the same teams that's going neck and neck every week with each other. So I don't know. I feel like Ravens are for sure still making playoffs. Like that probably won't even be a problem for them. But as far as going far in the playoffs, I don't know. It would be difficult. We'll have to see a extra gear like kind of turn on for them because they're struggling, to be honest.
Yeah. Besides that, we also had a close game between the Colts and the Jets. There's not much to talk about, but I do want to say, do you think it's still an Aaron Rodgers problem, or is the Jets team overall just, is it a chemistry problem? Is it a defense problem? Like what did you see after this game? Because I mean, we all thought that the Jets would, I mean, not do great, but we thought they would do better under Aaron Rodgers and I mean having a good receiving core and then bringing in Devontae Adams. But it just hasn't really worked out. So what do you think is going wrong for them in this game?
What's really going wrong for them is that they're too laid back. Is the thing. It's like you have the skill set there, but it's just like they just there just to be there. It's a regular 9 to 5 to them. They just out there just doing whatever. So it's not really a Rogers problem. It's more of a like maturity problem, I would say, because everybody over there, believe it or not, everybody's ego is high over there. Rogers is literally always on his receivers, and then yet his receivers aren't taking it well, and then yet like they're not even performing too good. So that's exactly why Garrett Wilson's not getting much targets. Even with Devontae Adams, he's not getting like too many targets. It's like everybody's egos are too high, and it's what's making them like go down super fast because you can't have a skilled team that good and expect them to easily beat everybody else if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing as a team. Like that's really not going to happen. You're not going to have one person do it all, especially in the NFL. NBA, you might get away with that. NFL, not at all. You need all 11 players doing their part on the team. So I don't. That's why I be telling people like, even though Rogers is up there in age, he's not performing the best. You can't like it's talent, bro. You can't take away the skill he has. And I guarantee you, if you put him on a team where Rogers really fits, he would be unstoppable. Like he would for sure be top 5, close to like top 10 QBs talked about in the league. But just because he's on the Jets and the Jets are struggling, and we don't see too much of a high performance from anybody on the Jets. That's why I say like it can't be on Rogers at all. If the whole team is not doing good, you can't put it on Rogers. Simple as that.
Then we also had, we can celebrate finally that the Dolphins won. We finally won, or they finally won. I'm not a Dolphins fan, but it's the hometown team. They finally won against the Raiders, which I mean is not that big of achievement, but it's something. And we saw a few moments of greatness from the Dolphins, so hopefully that means good things going forward. We also had an extremely close game between the Packers and Bears, with the Packers winning off of a blocked field goal at the end of the game.
That was crazy.
And speaking of the Bears, Caleb Williams has been 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for I think the last 4 or 5 games, I think. And the Bears have also officially fired their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, which is now makes like the, I don't know, I think it's like the third offensive coordinator that they fired under this head coach, which I mean at a certain point, like maybe the head coach is a problem. I mean, I think that they've fucked it up with like what? It's been 3 quarterbacks now. It's been whoever the guy was before Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky, and then it was Justin Fields, and now it's Caleb Williams. So I'm thinking maybe it's like a, I think we've talked about this before. Like I think it's either a head coaching problem or an administration problem because they've had chances with 3 quarterbacks, which I mean, Mitch Trubisky wasn't great, but you know, I think he did far better on the Steelers than he did on the Bears. And then
Yeah.
funnily enough, Justin Fields as well did better on the Steelers than he did on the Bears. So the Steelers seem to be doing something right with these 2 quarterbacks, and the Bears have had chances with 3 quarterbacks. And I mean, Caleb Williams looked good at the start of the season, and now he's struggling. Like he hasn't put up a touchdown for like the past 4 games, I think, which is crazy. Like that doesn't happen a lot. So I don't know, that's a little tough. I mean, I can't even blame them that much for this game. If Caleb Williams had played better, they could have won. But even then, like they got unlucky with that kicker. Like their field goal got blocked. Like what are you gonna do? And their defense locked in somewhat. Jordan Love had an interception. So like at a certain point, you gotta think that maybe it's not the quarterbacks that are the problem. Maybe it's the coaching or the administration. But moving on from that, Saints Browns standard game. Saints won. Um, Nothing much to talk about there. I think I saw Taysom Hill, the random dude on the Saints that can play like 10 positions, locked in for a
Nah,
little
bro.
and got
That
like
man is
three
yeah,
three rushing touchdowns, 138 rushing yards off of 7 attempts. He like got some receptions and like some passing, funnily enough, which I think is the weirdest thing. And Derek Carr had 2 touchdowns, some greatness from Derek Carr again. So I mean, it's good to see. They we've been saying at the start of the season that the Saints were looking good, and then they kind of just fell off. And the Browns, I want to talk about Jameis Winston as well. He had almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns, which I mean, I think he's unlucky that his defense couldn't do anything and that his running game could not do anything. But I think Jameis Winston, me personally, I think Jameis Winston is a good quarterback, and I would like to see him on an actually good team because clearly 400 yards is not enough.
it's just Jameis Winston is like a young Josh Allen trying to reach out to coaches to play in college. That's kind of how Jameis Winston is because he has the talent, like he has everything there. It's just that people will overlook him so much, and it's like why? They're like right now is really a critical time to have a great QB on your team. So I literally don't see a point of like why not taking a shot with James Winston.
Yeah,
Like there's literally a few teams that really need QBs right now, and yet now one of them are taking chances, which is like why they're high in the draft right now to draft a QB. But like he literally has every skill set you would need as a QB, and yet people still won't give him his flowers just because he's on the Browns. Which I'm honestly I can't even be mad at it. Browns are a horrible franchise, so I'm not even like we've seen it over the years with Mayfields and Landry and even Odell. They've always had the skill there, but yet as a franchise, they've done horrible with their players, especially as far as off the field. They've done horrible with their players. So I'm not even surprised that like he hasn't started until Watson got hurt. But like bro, Winston like he's literally a QB is like somebody gets hurt, you ask him, he already has his helmet on. That's exactly what Jameis Winston is. He's literally on goal every single time, but nobody wants to take a chance on him. So I
yeah,
guarantee if he was at any other team right now, guarantee if he was at the Giants, Raiders, or even I would say the Jets, like him as starting and then have Rodgers on the team, I guarantee the Jets would they probably wouldn't be playing better, but it would be so much more fluid. It would be a lot easier and quicker for them. But nobody wants to take a chance on them. Like I
yeah.
really don't understand that, bro. That happens too much in the league now because I mean it's a lot of politics than more of the sport. But I don't know, bro.
Besides that, we had, just to go quickly over it, we had 2 NFC North teams beating the top of the NFC North, beating up the bottom of the AFC South with the Vikings, Titans, and Lions, Jaguars. The Lions put up 52 points. The Lions are looking unstoppable, much to my dismay, as Jared Goff, because of Samaj's rigged NFL Fantasy League, got like 165 fantasy points, which was insane. Jared Goff out here being like legendary, I think. I mean, then again, he's playing like bad teams, but still, like we've seen good teams struggle against bad teams in the league. Like for
bro.
example, the Vikings only put up 23 points against the Titans and allowed them to score. So
The
I mean, that's
Lions
still impressive.
are literally a face of the franchise Madden game team, bro. That's exactly what the Lions are right now, bro.
We are
That's really
seeing
like
like
you having
last year's Dolphins on the lines right now, basically.
pretty much, bro. Like this is literally as you going into Madden and you making a custom roster and putting it on the Lions, bro. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
You have Jameson Williams, Amon Ra, then you have Gibbs and Montgomery.
Montgomery. Yeah.
And then on defense, your defense like we don't even gotta talk about defense, bro. Their defense is freaking stacked. Then you have Goff at QB. Come on, bro. It really does not get any better than that. Like honestly, that team
They
is
played
is
amazing. Like they're playing amazing
is
right now.
is so well rounded because receiver gets hurt, they got somebody else on the bench that can easily pull up and still ball out. Running back gets hurt, you already got Montgomery on the freaking bench or Gibbs on the bench. It's like they're too good for them to just lose to a bad team
And the
so easily, bro.
coaching. We
Is
can't talk about the Lions team without talking about the coaching.
bro,
What's his name?
Dan
Dan
has
Campbell.
bro,
Bro, he is amazing. He is like actually like an inspiration. He's
he's
such a
proven
jolly
he's
man. Like he's a
proven
perfect
his statement,
coach.
bro.
Yeah.
He's proving his statement, bro.
He's
Like,
such a good coach.
and then it's
Like
like uh, you don't people don't understand, but bro, you being in the NFL and like as a player, you study every single thing. So when you put that into the franchise as a coach, is bro, you know exactly what's going to happen, exactly what's going to go on, what plays are going to be
yes.
called, what coverage is going to be there. You know exactly what's going to happen, bro. He studies the game so well to the point where it could really be a play that you probably wouldn't even know of, and yet defense is on top of it every single time, bro. He's literally like the pitch perfect coach that you would want to be with, bro. Like literally, his the way he's transformed the whole team, it literally shows how he's that good of a coach. So that's literally like with Deion Sanders. Changed Colorado from that team to now. Same as that thing with the Lions. He changed that team that hasn't touched playoffs in bro, before my dad was born. That says a lot. That is 52 years old. Come on now.
Literally.
Like that literally goes to show how one coach, or not even just one coach, your head coach has that huge impact of a team that you're going to be playing for, bro. People don't give him his flowers, but that man is he has the league on notice right now, bro. I
I
guarantee
think
with this
the
this
Lions are
draft
looking
is
like
gonna
the
be
strongest
insane.
team. The Lions look like the strongest team right now.
Bro, who can beat them? Like
Literally.
honestly, who can beat them, bro? And I guarantee you, people are gonna say either Bills, Ravens, Steelers, Commanders, Chiefs, Eagles. Everybody gonna say one of those teams, and yet it won't even be close, bro.
I could see
Like
maybe the
it
Bills.
won't even
I
be
could
close,
see
bro.
maybe the Bills. I could see maybe the
Definitely
Bills.
not.
I could
Definitely not.
see them putting up a fight. Or
Nah.
listen. Or the Broncos and the Steelers, not that it would be a close game, but I would want to see them play each other to see how they fare against like a really good defense because both of those teams have like pretty good like solid defenses, especially the Broncos. So I would want to see how how the Lions do against a good defense. I know they would probably win and we would probably predict them to win, but I mean in the NFL you never know. Like I would want to see them do that, you know what I mean?
It is not, bro. It's not even close, bro. Because
Yeah,
as much as I love the Bills, as much as I love Josh Allen, the like Lions is literally a team that you don't want to go against, bro. Like at all. That's
it's
literally a team that you
scary.
don't want to go against. It's literally like it's basically being a high school team that's been that's been ranked number one for years and they haven't lost to anybody. That's how it is. Like they're that good to the point where you can literally put them against Bills defense or Broncos or Steelers or Commanders or Eagles, and yet they're still gonna ball out every single time, because there's only so much those teams can really do. There's literally only so much those teams can do. At some point, you going I'm telling you, Amon Ra is either gonna run a 10 in, a slant, a sluggo, a post corner, and it's going to be in his hands every single time. Same thing with Jameson Williams. He can run a 10 and out. He's going to get you those yards. He going to move the sticks. You already got Montgomery and Gibbs as running backs, which is just honestly unfair. And then Goff, he's not like he's used to it, bro. Nothing phases him. That's exactly why like you can't go against a team like that. Like if that Goff and Josh Allen are basically the same QBs. They're not scared. They really have no fear in them. So they're gonna make the throws, and then they're gonna get out of the pocket and try to get a little bit of yards. They're going to. That's exactly why I'm saying like right now, there's really only those four teams that really have a shot at actually winning. And then there's only out of those three teams, they have no choice but to go against the Lions in the Super Bowl. They don't have a choice. Lions are too good for to be stopped that easily, bro.
Yeah. Next up, we had the Seahawks getting lucky against the Niners, which we don't have to go over, but I do want to say that like Geno Smith is so ass, man. Like honestly, like he looked good last year, but now like I'm ready to be done with him. Like give me a new quarterback, please. Like I think we should draft a new quarterback. Because like even the O-line, like they're playing okay. Like it's not a horrible O-line. So I think with a better quarterback it would be fine. I would be fine with drafting like a quarterback like what's his name? What's the Oregon quarterback again? Gabriel?
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, I'd be fine with like drafting him and not even just like starting him, but like putting him behind Geno Smith, who, regardless of him being like not great, he's still a decent veteran quarterback. And that would, I think, be good development for Dylan Gabriel behind like a pretty good O-line as long as they can keep that and like a solid wide receiving core. And then besides that, we had the Broncos destroying the Falcons. We can safely say the Falcons are not a seriously good team as we thought they would be at the start of the year. The Broncos are looking better and better. I would say that Bo Nix is looking like kind of the Drew Brees archetype. I've seen people saying that he could be like the next Drew Brees, which I think that's fair to say. Like he looks pretty good and he came into the league pretty like already developed and older. So that he'll be an interesting guy to watch for the next few years. Then, like, thankfully, thank God this happened. The Chiefs finally lost, this time to the Bills. The Bills putting up a solid game, 30 to 21. I think that's way too, what's the word? It's way too lenient towards the Chiefs, but oh well. The Bills, Josh Allen did not have a great game. He had a touchdown and an interception and 262 yards. But I mean, James Cook out here with like two touchdowns. Josh Allen also putting up a rushing touchdown. I mean, it was a solid game. Like I can't complain. The Chiefs lost. Like you got to give them credit. And the Chiefs, I mean, I don't understand how Patrick Mahomes is doing this. He had three touchdowns and two interceptions, barely hitting 200 yards. Like he is not, like I'm saying this right now, he is not a seriously good quarterback. Like when people were saying, like dynasty, like Tom Brady, whatever, like no. Jo Patrick Mahomes is not anywhere close. It is all about Andy Reid, who I think will go into the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest coaches ever. I think is safe to say. And I mean, he just has a good fucking defense. Like the Chiefs have a solid defense that was finally broken by this Bills offense. What do you think?
This is that Chiefs get bailed out every single time, bro. Like you can, as much as people don't want to admit it, you could literally watch every single game that they have played, and there's so many calls that have either been missed or shouldn't have been called, bro. And that's what really keeps them in the games, because like the Chiefs were literally only that close to scoring because of a missed call. or actually a bad call. Like because I think it was
I watched the start of the
who
game
was
and
it?
like the refs were kind of doing better. Like I didn't see too many iffy calls at the start of the game.
I mean, nah, but only reason why they were doing better though is because the I wouldn't say Bills go hand in hand as far as like with the refs. It's just that there's with specifically those two, Bills always win in regular season. So that's
Yeah,
expected to happen. But at the same time, the Bills are building up too much for them to just easily lose in the playoffs, which is exactly why the Chiefs shouldn't even be like close to wasn't shouldn't even have been close to beating them. Only reason why the Chiefs were that close because Bills defense is starting to decline just a little bit. Like they're starting to let up on some of these easy plays, or even with being on the goal line. Like they can easily let a big play happen. And that's the only reason why some teams are at least scoring a few times against the Bills. But with the Chiefs, bro, the Chiefs, nothing is there for them, bro. There's no way for them to even be close to making it past first round of playoffs, bro. Because they play any good team is almost wraps for them. Like they literally have nobody. And as far as Kareem Hunt, Mahomes, and then you have Worthy, and they just got D Hop. Kelsey is going to be the main target every single time. Worthy is only getting targeted just for long balls because if you actually watch the game, he literally only gets targeted if it's like past 20 yards. And then even with D Hop literally gets like a reception every few drives or something. So it's like come on now. You put that against a well-oiled defense is literally not good for you. Because I guarantee you, if you put them against Steelers defense or even the Lions defense, and we can even say Vikings defense, they're not doing the same thing, bro. Like they're not putting up that many points. So that I don't know. Mahomes, I'll give him his flowers. Mahomes for sure. Like he's a good QB. It's just that people would say he's the main reason why they're winning, bro. Which
this is not
is
true.
is partially true because I mean like it refs is the reason why he's winning, but it's
And
mainly because of
defense.
Mahomes. Nah, bro.
It's like for
Nah.
me, it's like with the Patriots where I mean Tom Brady was okay. He's good. Like Tom Brady is good. Like I won't deny that. He's one of the greatest to ever have played, obviously. Like his like accolades speak for themselves, you know? But like during his career, he had good coaching. Like Bill Belichick is undeniably one of the best coaches while he was with Tom Brady. Um the Patriots defense was one of the best defenses in the league for a while. Like if it wasn't for that Patriots defense, the Seahawks would have beat the Patriots in 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 the Super Bowl. Like we would have if not for the Patriots defense and if not for us calling an audible pass at the goal line, like the Seahawks would have won that Super Bowl against the Patriots. And Tom Brady had a lot of yards after catch on his stats. Like they call it the Tom Brady check down pass for a reason. Like he had a good receiving core and tight ends and all of that while he was playing. So I mean, I think it's like a similar thing with Patrick Mahomes, where the administration has been able to keep a good team around Mahomes and obviously a good coach. Like Andy Reid is undeniably one of the best to ever have played. I mean, coached.
But that's exactly why you can't give Mahomes too much of his flowers, bro.
Yeah,
He ever since he stepped foot in the league, he's always had receivers and a tight end to easily get the ball to. That's exactly why you may have those rings, you may have beat Bills every year in conference championship and championship. That doesn't matter, bro. Like honestly, because we can put any great quarterback on a team with great receivers and great coaching, and they would still ball out, bro. Like that can literally happen with any great quarterback. That's like why I be saying, like, bro, you put Mahomes on a team with nobody, he's not doing the same thing, like at all. And that's why I be saying, like, people may see as defense won those games. Defense didn't win those games because even though last play of the game may have been determined by Chiefs defense, the whole outcome of the game literally came from the beginning of the game. Once one play goes wrong for that other team, the Chiefs are pretty much determined to win the game. That's exactly why I be saying like with Chiefs against Broncos, bro, the Broncos were supposed to win that game, but yeah, just because of a few bad plays on Broncos, that's what let the Chiefs win. So we could easily say defense has been a huge part for Chiefs, but defense is a huge part of every team. If your defense isn't good, you're going to lose games. Defense is literally crucial. Yeah, like it does not matter how good your offense is. If you have no defense, you're going to lose the game. So, like, that's main reason why they're even getting close to winning. But Chiefs defense aren't doing so much. It's just like the real good teams that we see play, they're not doing that great against the Chiefs, which honestly doesn't make sense. But it just it just magically happens to where they're not playing that good. So
Yeah.
until I really see Mahomes actually ball out postseason without still without his receivers, I'm not saying too much on him.
Besides that, Chargers beat the Bengals. I think nothing really surprising about that. I think it's disappointing to see the Bengals lose, but oh well. Besides that, in other news, we got Daniel Jones has finally been benched. Well, I shouldn't say finally, but he has been benched now. Which means that if he was injured, then the Giants would have to pay him a lot of money, and now they will not have to pay him that money because he will be benched and there's no way he can get injured unless he goes out of his way to injure himself off the field, which I don't even think he can earn money for doing that. And besides that, in injury news, Nick Bosa, San Francisco 49ers defensive end. Nick Bosa has been said to be maybe missing time with an oblique injury that they are checking out right now. Atlanta Falcons wide receiver as well, Darnell Mooney, has still been limited, and he left the game against the Broncos yesterday with a hamstring injury, although the Falcons did not appear to be too worried. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. The Falcons are kind of meh. They could use him for postseason probably. Like I could see the Falcons getting into the postseason off of like winning their division, but I think that'll just be an easy um first round defeat, honestly. I think the only team I'd want to watch out for being like a possible upset is the teams of the Seahawks division of the NFC uh West. And before you count it out, I would say it only because like any of those teams, they're ranked badly, but they can have really good games every now and then. And all they need is to be healthy in the postseason and perform. Because any of those teams could be good. They just need to A, be healthy and B, like actually perform. Besides that, the only other notable injury that I would say is Baltimore Ravens linebacker Roquan Smith, who left the game yesterday, um, with an injury that is not stated here, although they said that it should not be that bad. Hamstring, there we go. No further updates. Um, Besides that, nothing much. The Houston Texans are about to go into the halftime, winning 17 to 10 against the Cowboys. Funnily enough, I only say this because I hate um Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush has made a pass for 64 yards in the game for a touchdown, which I mean, if Cooper Rush ends up being like better than Dak Prescott and taking his spot, would be like the funniest thing ever, in my opinion. But yeah, besides that, no other news. We've gone over time already. So if you haven't already, please watch the um podcast, the college episode of this podcast. And besides that, we will see you guys next episode, which will hopefully be going up Friday if things go well. So yeah, until then, bye bye.